Once again, I'm Brad, and I'm not saying it, you say it. And welcome back to the art of riding slow. I thought I'd do a short thing on roots, since the way that I like to ride roots really kind of goes back to the fundamental of what I wanted to do with this series. And I'm not talking about the one-off route along the trail. You know, you can hop, skip, jump, whatever you want to on that. I'm not talking about bombing downhill on an 8-inch travel bike and nailing roots. Been there, done that. You can run up to Whistler, you can rent a bike and do the whole lift thing. Good fun, not what I'm going to cover. So, sticking to the idea of climbing and running up through roots, or just a sea of nasty 4 to 6 inch wet roots that just kind of kick you around. So to start with, one thing I haven't addressed is you have two suspension systems when you're riding a bicycle. There's the suspension on your bike that you've paid all this money for, you should use it, and then there's your legs and arms. That's your secondary suspension system. I personally do believe use the suspension on your bike that you paid for as much as possible. Rely on your body as a secondary system, and particularly on roots, because my 120 mil bike, I can easily absorb a 4-inch root with it. My 140, 5 or 6 inch roots before it actually starts kicking me out of the saddle. And I really do believe that, again, let that thing bottom out. One of my buddies used to own a shop. He gives me a hard time that O-ring on my rear shock is always knocked off the end of it. I bottom out on occasion. If I'm not bottoming out a couple times on a ride, I don't feel like my suspension is actually adjusted its best. And I do actually use, there's a couple nice little root step-up things that I use as my benchmarks when I set up a bicycle. I sit there and I hit them time and time again until the bike will absorb that as much as humanly possible without kicking it up in the air, without spinning the rear tire, and make it as smooth as possible and maintain traction. And again, butt in the saddle keeps your weight on the rear tire. The minute that you stand up, you've taken that weight that's been on your saddle and you move it forward to your bottom bracket. In one big leap, you've just taken that much weight and just shifted it forward. So in order to really get that smooth transition in between there, your butt needs to be in the saddle. And by knowing how much pressure you have on the rear tire, where your rear tire is, you can control that traction, climb up through a bunch of wet, nasty roots, and life is good. So, a couple different things that I've tried to do as far as video clips. I have one nice little climb around a tight turn. You really have to keep your butt in the saddle to stay balanced on it. Yeah, I've watched my buddies stand up and make it through there. But realistically, for the most part, when I see them succeed on this and actually make me feel incompetent, they're sitting down. So, let's go out, let's ride some of this stuff, let's have a good time. did manage to adjust my rear derailleur on my last fail. So first gear is now third gear and kind of hopping around. See how she does. There seems to be a big tan and white root in the way. All right. And I am cheating a little bit with a very soft downhill front tire. Take an easier line coming back through there. If there is an easy line out here, let's try this line coming back. There you go.